We got an update to get to on Seahawks quarterback Sam Darnold. Welcome into this edition of Seattle Seahawks Today. Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have some very interesting comments from people, not just within the Seattle organization, but around the league, of what they're saying about Sam Darnold heading into 2025 as the new QB1 in Seattle. We'll tell you everything you need to know in just a bit. Before we do, folks, 49ers Report host Chase Sr., he was talking smack on Sam Darnold, and he knows Sam Darnold pretty well. Sam played for the Niners for a bit. He says he doesn't believe in Sam, that Sam's a total fraud and a bad quarterback, and he even went as far to say that he's the worst quarterback in the division. I will not stand for it, folks. Spam 14 for Sam. Sam I am. I can make great plays. I am. Something like that. Shout out Dr. Seuss. Spam 14 for Sam Darnold. Let's get at least 300 of those to show some love for Sam Darnold. And if we reach at least 300, then I'll shout out whoever spams the most in the comments section. We'll get started with today's show. So the folks at The Athletic, Mike Silver, who's covered the National Football League for a long time, I ran into him at the Super Bowl, actually, believe it or not, and he took a picture for me. So, Mike, thanks for being my iPhone photographer back in New Orleans. So, Mike did a really interesting piece where he talked to all sorts of people about Sam Darnold and what exactly he's bringing to the table and what the expectations are. And just to give you an idea before we show you too much, we got quotes today from Sam, Cooper Kupp, John Schneider. Hell, even Kyle Shanahan had some things to say. But before we show you all that, let's kind of get to know Sam a little further in case you need a quick refresher. Sam Darnold, former number 2 overall pick out of the University of Southern California by the New York Jets. And he had his bumps along the way with the Jets and Panthers. Went to San Francisco to go back up Brock Purdy, and that's where he and Clint Kubiak crossed paths. Then had that breakout season this past year with the Vikings where he was a Pro Bowler. Was named the Pro Football Writers Association's most improved player for this past season. And the numbers were off the charts as the Vikings won a ton of football games. He threw for 35 touchdowns, just 12 interceptions, over 4,300 yards. It was a very good year for Sam Darnold. But even with that said, Darnold and the Vikings did not finish the year they would have liked. They had a bit of a disappointing loss against the Detroit Lions there towards the end of the regular season. And then they had just an abysmal showing in the playoffs against the Los Angeles Rams. And for Sam, one of the things that he's talked about is despite having that breakout season and making the playoffs and putting up all those good numbers, is that he has regret from last season. That he is looking to improve. He knows what he needs to do, and that he is not content with the way things ended there in Minnesota. Here's what he told Mike Silver. For lack of a better term, we laid an egg as an offense. And I think for me personally, that sucks. I felt like we were a really good team, but at the end of the day, and this is going to sound a little pessimistic, but when you get to the end of it and you don't win the whole thing, you failed. I feel like I could have played way better, to be completely honest with you. I feel I didn't play up to my standard. I truly felt that way. I feel like if I would have played better, I would have been able to give the team a chance. And what's that saying? Obviously, he can't go back to Minnesota. He's on a new football team now. But that's motivation for this year in saying, I'm holding myself accountable. I made my mistakes. And now I'm going to do what I can to improve and learn from it. Obviously, the big topic of discussion with Sam, what he did in Minnesota, was holding the ball too long. And with Seattle having their own offensive line issues, that's going to be something that he needs to fix and adjust. But I appreciate the self-awareness from Sam Darnold. You know, I look back at that game against the Rams, for example. He got sacked 9 times. And that wasn't all on Sam holding the ball too long. There was some offensive line issues and a number of things. But at least he is not going to be the guy that blames everybody else. And to me, that's a sign of a leader, a guy that is going to be somebody that guys want to play for, it's a good thing. Will Sam Darnold have a great season in Seattle? You got two options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Tell us in our pinned comment today what you think of how Sam's going to play this year. He's got confidence from his teammates already. We have heard nothing but positive things from guys like Cooper Kupp, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and others when it comes to their new QB1 in Seattle. Cooper Kupp, we know, was giving him a hard time about eating chicken fingers and fries. This is his go-to meal of sorts that he wanted to culture him a little bit. But the chemistry is there, and the belief is there in Sam Darnold. And not to mention, too, he's kind of the one that's teaching the offense with him playing under Kubiak previously, and the guys are listening to him, and there is a belief there. Cooper Kupp said this: I think without a doubt he's got his best football ahead of him. I love his competitiveness. He's not okay with things being just okay. And it's very clear he's won over the locker room already to this point, that you look at Sam Darnold and the way that he has carried himself, that he's done everything the right way. There is a belief there. And sometimes you look at that and you wonder, hey, do I even want to play for that guy? Do I believe in what they're doing? And that's already showing with Sam Darnold to me. I think that's a great thing already that he's taken that step without even playing a down of meaningful football just yet. Folks, want to make sure you subscribe to Seattle Seahawks Today as we bring you our daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. Watch parties will be here this season. Preseason will be here before you know it, folks. We have our Madden Sims going on, breaking news, Q-Day mailbags. There's no off-season here on Seahawks Today. If you're not subscribed, you're missing out, folks. I want to get at least 20 subs off today's video. For the best Seahawks content around, you got to be subscribed to the channel, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. Subscribe now. Sam Darnold would want you to subscribe. Do it for Sam. Subscribe today, youtube.com/Seahawks TV. So, not only do we hear Cooper Kupp say that Sam Darnold, his best football is still ahead of him, General Manager John Schneider believes he is ascending, that his upward trajectory is just now beginning, that this is the start of something special for Sam Darnold, potentially for many years to come. Schneider saying this: I do see him as ascending because, well, the experience we had with Geno would tell us that. These guys need reps, and he got a ton in 2024. The undercurrent from the league going into last season was that he had kind of turned a corner, and then the evidence was there. I think for Sam, what you're trying to prove is that it wasn't a one-hit wonder. The talent has been there the entire time. He was the number 2 overall pick for a reason. And coming out of USC, he was a young cat, right? He was a spring chicken, as some people would say. And he took his lumps along the way with New York and Carolina in some bad situations. But being still in his 20s at this point, I think that we have every reason to think that he can turn the corner. And we've seen these things happen before. John mentions Geno Smith. I look at Baker Mayfield, one of my favorite quarterbacks in the NFL. Alex Smith was one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league with what he did with San Francisco and Kansas City. I mean, this is, I think, folks, it's very rare that the reclamation project turns into a superstar quarterback. But Seattle's not paying him to be a superstar. If he does become a superstar, that'd be great. No one's opposed to that. But I think it's very realistic, and we have the data, we have the evidence to believe that, yes, Sam Darnold is ascending and that his best football is still ahead of him at this point. How would you grade the signing of Sam Darnold? Let me know in the comment section. ABCDRF, how you feeling? What do you think that Sam is going to do? What do you think now? Knowing what you know now, how would you grade that signing? Hindsight 2020, weigh in, let me know. All right, here's one I was not expecting to talk about today, but here we are, folks. Sam Darnold is drawing comparisons from a rival coach in the division that he played under, Kyle Shanahan, to none other than Pro Football Hall of Famer Steve Young. Yes, that's Steve Young. the grandson of Brigham Young, that guy. Steve Young had a fantastic career with the San Francisco 49ers. It didn't always start easy for him. He began things in the USFL, that is, before making the transition to the National Football League, and then went on to win multiple Super Bowls and was a Hall of Famer, of course, and all of that. And Kyle Shanahan, who worked with Darnold for a year, said this when it comes to Sam Darnold. Steve Young took a while to get going, and he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I don't like to compare anyone to Steve because of how good he is, but why can't Sam be like that? Let me pause for 1 second, then I'll read the rest of the quote. Why can't Sam be like Steve Young is what Kyle Shanahan just said. Take a moment. Let that sink in, folks. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, let's continue. He's got that type of ability. He's that type of person. And I'm just pumped that we could get a talented guy like him here. Now, that says a lot that Kyle said that about Sam Darnold. And he enjoyed his time with him. And he's excited for him. That might be a reach from Kyle Shanahan to compare him to Steve Young. But I don't hate it. I hope he's right. I hope he's absolutely right about that. Kyle Shanahan, I know some of you don't like him, and I get it. Rightfully so. But that's a hell of a compliment when it comes to Sam Darnold there. And I'm here for it, and I respect Kyle Shanahan for saying that about it. Confidence level to Sam Darnold scale for me 1 through 10. What do you think of the new quarterback in Seattle? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know. We got Seahawks T-shirts on sale now. Nike shirts for $15.99. Chatsports.com/SeahawksT is where you can get yours today. We have these Nike shirts. Not very often we're talking about Nike shirts with a cheap deal, folks. Go check them out now. Chatsports.com/SeahawksT. Other Seahawks merchandise available at that same link. Chatsports.com/SeahawksT. All sorts of different shapes and sizes available. Go check them out for yourself now. Chatsports.com/SeahawksT to get yours today. Last on our list of takeaways from this article from The Athletic is the high standards that we are seeing Sam Darnold put on himself and put on the rest of this offense. And we're going to let you hear from Sam in a moment, but Cooper Kupp also talked about this as well, of the standard that Sam Darnold is taking, that he is a perfectionist of sorts with everything that he goes about in his approach and the way he does things. Cooper Kupp saying this. He wants to be perfect. He wants to be right. He wants to be good for the guys. That's the standard he holds to himself, and I love it. The issue has never been whether he can throw the rock or not. I've been watching him since he was at USC, and I was like, man, he can throw the ball. Along those same lines, Darnold's saying this, I'm hard on myself always. I feel like I can be a lot more consistent with how I play. So he's got something to prove. He's clearly got something to prove here. And I just look at everything that we talked about today. All positives. He's got the regret from last season, and he's got something to prove. The confidence that's already been won over. He's won over the locker room. He's got his teammates. That's a great thing. John Schneider and others say he's ascending. Kyle Shanahan compares him to Steve Young, and then he holds himself and his teammates to a high standard. I'm here for it. I don't know about you all. I know Sam hasn't played a down of meaningful football yet for Seattle, but I'm already ready to run through a brick wall for this guy. Now let's see it for ourselves, and hopefully it all works out, and Sam has a great career in Seattle. Appreciate y'all joining us on this edition of Seattle Seahawks today. If you made it to the end of today's video, you know what that means? You're a real one, a real member of the 12. Spam 12 in the comments section. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you next time here on Seattle Seahawks Today.